Yeah. The other one I think of, this is just for me, but Scott Joplin's The Entertainer.
That's for you?
Yeah, that's for me. That's what's playing in my head.
That's funny. Talk about old school.
It doesn't totally make sense, but
Welcome to our Film Fathers Podcast, the definitive podcast about fatherhood, film, and fatherhood and film. This is Jelani, and with me as always are two guys who threw at their own sons in the father-son game, Martin and Brady.
Just a reminder, fans, coming up is our Die Hard night here at the stadium. Free admission to anyone who was actually alive the last time the Indians won a pennant.
just a bit outside. Ball 4. Ball 8. Vaughn has walked the bases loaded on 12 consecutive pitches.
This week, it's about that time of year. It's almost time for opening day. On that note, we watched one of the greatest sports movies ever made. At least, it's the best baseball movie ever made. Or is it the best baseball comedy ever made? It's arguable about where it falls in the all-time ranks, but one thing that's undeniable is that this movie is an all-timer. What do you guys think? Does this movie still win the whole fucking thing?
Guys,
it was fun. It was a fun rewatch. It's been years for me.
so I've said it for quite some time. I rewatched this movie for the first time in multiple years. This movie is in my top 5 all-time comedies. It remains there. To me, this movie is almost flawless.
Whoa.
I fucking
Brady
love it.
gushing. I haven't seen Brady gush in a long time. Actually, Oppenheimer
I love
maybe
it.
gushed a bit.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer, at least that was new. This movie is so ridiculously good. It drives me crazy when people don't give it its due. So please, bring your hate.
All right, you'll knock everything down if any criticism I have of it. I love it.
It's so good, dude. This movie is... I feel like I know I'm wrong, but I feel like this movie is like age-proof. That like anyone could watch it now and still find it hilarious. But I know that I'm wrong. I know that like the youth of America would watch it and just like find it unfunny and make them wrong as we expect them to be. But
So my friend at work, Amanda, she loves doing Letterboxd, and she has her system, and she's like, I have very, very few 5-star movies. There's lots of 4-star, lots of 4.5. 5-star movie for her is one that you can't really explain to anyone why it's your favorite movie or why you love it or why it's the best. And it's not perfect, but it's
wait,
perfect.
sorry,
to
clarify what you're saying.
I'm saying this is
her
your 5-star
classification
movie.
system?
Yeah, this is your 5-star movie. Like, it's not. You're not saying that it's the best movie ever, but for you personally, it's like you said, near perfect or flawless, and you just love it. And
Yeah. I like we kind of alluded it to there in the opening. Like you tell me you want, if someone says like, "Oh, name me your top 5 baseball movies." This has always been in it for me, and it will be. And I think it deserves to be. But I think the default is like serious movies. Even funny, even League of Their Own, right? Like I think it's like the comedy that people think of more. Sorry. In my opinion, this is way better than League of Their Own. Like, this is a better movie. This is a funnier movie. This is just better. In my opinion, I get it. But, like, I like other baseball movies. This movie deserves to be in the top 5 baseball movies. This deserves to be in the top 5 comedy movies. It doesn't let up from start to finish. It's
Jelani,
great.
what do you think?
Sorry, Jelani, talk.
Now, I'm going to let Brady just keep rolling with it,
Let
but
him cook.
yeah, I agree. It holds up really well. I watched it earlier this week, and I was like, going back through it, and you see it in the very beginning, you're like, oh man, this is gonna feel dated. Like you see the way that it starts to play out, and you're like, oh man, this isn't gonna play the same way. And then as soon as they get to camp and they start pulling the people together, you're just like, oh yeah, this is it. This is good. And then just left, right,
Yeah, it's
after another. Just keeps coming.
Prototype, right? It's a prototype for like a lot of movies that came after. I thought of The Replacements a couple times. The football movie that we did at one point, which was, you try to have this like kooky cast of characters that are that you follow along, and each one's a little bit different. But I think this one, every single player that they follow is perfect and has the best role, or plays their role perfectly.
They're just I and for me, I mean, and granted, this is where you get when you like love a movie and you've seen it so many times. Like for me, it starts right out of the gate. Right, you have Randy Newman, singing about "Burn On Big River," which made me laugh because I remember him like the Family Guy.
Yeah, there's Randy Newman singing about what he sees.
The Cuyahoga River. Yeah.
Right, not funny.
It's like right,
but
like
that becomes funny.
But it's funny. But that stuff like so literally like the opening credits are rolling and I'm laughing. Like I'm laughing at Randy Newman.
A silly song, or not a silly song, a serious song.
I think it's even funnier when you just think about like, Martin, you said it was the prototype for like The Replacements.
Necessary Roughness too, right? Or
Necessary Roughness. They even pulled some of it for like Ted Lasso, right? Because she doesn't want the team to win in the beginning; she wants them to lose.
That's exactly right.
So she finds somebody who can lose.
But that's good. That's good.
The first episode of Ted Lasso, very much.
No, you guys are 100% right. I didn't even think of current stuff. I think it's just because I was so enamored to like dive back in. But like that's a great. And they said there was some like real life analogies or inspiration behind that, which is not crazy to believe, right? Like that there were, I don't know about like a Vegas dancer who was like, inherited the team, but literally to me, like the jokes are happening from the beginning of this movie. So Martin, we were talking kind of beforehand and talking about so I think Coach Lou Brown is just
perfect.
Like every time I see this movie, I'm like, how is this guy not a goddamn superstar? How are there not like movies written for him to just be?
I can't think of a more quintessential baseball coach.
My God, he is absolutely
from the
perfect.
Mustache, the voice, the attitude, but that he still loves it. But kind of pretends to hate it, but loves it at the same. Like everything about him is pitch perfect.
Yeah. Lou Brown. So we were joking about the line, the funny, because he has got some great lines throughout the movie, and to me, always the funniest line has always been when they call him about the job. It's like, hang on, I got a guy on the other line about some white walls.
I'm too old to be jumping behind lockers.
It just floors me. The white walls line to me is just so goddamn funny. It kills me every single time I see it. And I mean, and there, like I said, there are many of them. Like, you may run like maze, but you hit like shit.
Forget about the curveball, Ricky. Give him the heater.
Saying that there's like a best Lou Brown line is really a pantheon, because there is an endless array. And you're like, how is this guy not in? I feel like he was before his time. 20 years later, he's got like a 5-movie deal.
But then he's played by Brian Cox and not by the guy Jason Garman, I think, is the actor.
I think that's right.
James Gammon.
James Gammon. Close.
I think you said. Did you say? I feel like you said Brian Cox because, like, you could say that he looks like Brian Cox's brother in his oldest age.
If Brian Cox and Wilford Brimley had a kid, you get Coach Lou Brown.
I mean, I was like making a note. I was like making, as it was going, I was making a list of like the funny lines. And one, like, I almost got carpal tunnel, but like, it's
I find
non-stop.
I find the the guys in the outfield, like with that do the wild
The fans?
Yeah, the fans, but they're the ones with the drums and everything. When he's like, "Oh no, too high, too high," and he's like, "What does that mean, too high?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Who gives a shit? It's gone." But,
That one to me, those they're funny. To me, like they don't even come close.
yeah, I don't know. I think it's a nice little touch.
They're putting together a list of players like this guy here is dead.
They cross him
Him
off.
then. Like that shit is so simple to me that it just. I wish we had him 2 years ago. We did. 4 years ago, then.
For me, the line that I'll never get older is the exchange between Serrano and Harris when they're in the locker room, and he's like, "You should probably turn your life over to Jesus Christ." He's like, "Jesus, I like him, but he no help with the curve." He's like, "Are you telling me Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball?"
Oh my god, it's so
Harris
good.
is such a weird character, such a weird casting, but I love him.
Well, here's the
so
thing there,
old.
Martin, and we so Harris has got an inch. The actor that plays Harris has a
He's a that guy.
interesting
for me.
little backstory.
What else is he in?
Well, so-
I've seen him in 50 things, but
So he's played by Chelsea Ross. That
Sure.
actor, Chelsea Ross, played baseball, basketball, and football in high school. He was a three-sport athlete star, and he has played in a baseball movie, Major League. He has played in a football movie, Rudy,
okay.
and he's played in a basketball movie, Hoosiers.
Oh, the other two movies we've
So
done
he-
now.
But I say that he has, I would argue, if you were to ask most sports fans and / movie fans to name you a top 5 baseball, football, and basketball movie, he's been in all of them. He's on all those lists. Chelsea Ross, sneaky, great sports
Yeah,
actor.
very good.
Doesn't touch Dennis Quaid, but
I don't remember the line from when I watched it as a kid at all. What he was talking about, what he has on his shoulder, and then he's got Vagisil on
all
the
the
side.
shit that he's got on him.
I bet some-
Vagisil's what you remember. I guarantee you
Totally,
that.
yeah.
That's the one that stuck out to
Probably
kids.
didn't know what that was as a kid, right? But yeah, and he says to put snot on it, and you'll do it too.
Yeah.
If I had an arm, because I don't have an arm like yours. But yeah, that's a great bit of dialogue right there.
Well, so I'll tell you, I think a lot of people say this, and you recognize this as you watch these movies that I've seen. I mean, I bet I've seen this 30 plus times, and that might be low. Is the things you pick up on,
Yeah.
that that you've heard a million times, but I think it's more about what you retain. Like you've heard all these jokes. The thing I swear I don't remember hearing before, but I'm sure I have. But that is Harry Doyle, Euchre's character, saying as whenever Harris was pitching, he's like, "Oh, there's a Vaseline ball," and it's like, "Oh, that's a KY ball coming." Like he was literally
Say
like
KY ball.
calling
I did hear him
out
say
those
KY.
things, and I was like, I don't recall ever catching that before, and it was like different games. It was like
Can you guys explain to me? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, so no, it killed me because I caught it this time around, and I was like, how did I
Yeah, I
never
missed that.
remember that part?
Can you guys explain to me how that works? Like putting a little bit of pine tar or whatever they do on there, what it does?
It's all about grip and like the laces and whether you're getting
The spin on
more
the ball.
and yeah, you can get more spin on the ball if you can get more grip on it. So if there's
Something sticky and then gives you more spin.
Can I explain it to you enough to make you
Yeah, that sounds
understand
right.
the physics behind it? Probably not, but that's what it comes down to. It's like you're getting something to get more of a grip on the laces, which allows you to spin the
Okay,
ball more,
got it. And then it moves more.
which allows you to get
Yeah,
movement
I
and or
understand the
speed
movement.
and or
I get that.
Yeah.
yeah. So I think it's great. I think they leaned hard into that with him essentially showing like the 5 different things and parts of his body that are associated with it. But then to have Euchre throughout the movie like referencing that he's throwing like a KY ball or oh my god, I was fucking dying.
Martin, do you know about Bob Uecker?
Um,
Who he is and what he's done?
Yeah, I know he played baseball, right? And then he was in Mr. Belvedere. That's about all I know.
Is that all
Yeah,
you
I
know?
think so
Oh,
maybe
wow.
is there something else I'm supposed to?
Yeah.
So he was an announcer for a long time for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Is currently.
Is he still there?
He's still fucking there.
Yes.
Well, you know they shot this movie in Milwaukee.
In Milwaukee, yeah. Because that's the old Milwaukee County Stadium, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it
That
doesn't exist
seems
anymore.
like a slap in the face to Cleveland, but okay.
Well, I think it was more. I think it was timing out with them transitioning. I could be wrong on that. Literally, the stadium. They went from Milwaukee County Stadium to a new one, but
I guess you're right. I did know he was an announcer, but I didn't know he still did it for sure.
that's actually not how he got the job. Even though, the director David S. Ward asked Euchre to play Harry Doyle in the film. He chose Euchre because of his acting work in Miller Lite ads. Which you don't remember him when you were a kid in Miller Lite ads, like great taste, less filling.
Maybe that was the big
in the
slogan
stands.
for sure. I might remember that too, but I'd have to.
Yeah,
see it.
so he was like in the stands with fans, like, which was again from him being, he just was a funny guy, yada yada. But like that led to him getting cast in this, and it wasn't until after Ward, the director, met Euchre that he learned that Euchre had actually been for 20 years a baseball announcer. He literally picked him because of his like being funny in advertisements, and probably I know he's been revered for being like Carson loved him, so he would come on the Tonight Show and be really funny. But he literally had been an announcer for 20 years for baseball because he played.
He's got that voice.
He was a catcher.
He sounds like a baseball announcer. He's quintessential as well. You know.
It put him. I mean, this definitely put him on a bigger map. Considering you're a radio announcer for Milwaukee. Obviously, your reach is not huge, especially back then.
And I like when he says he's the best color man in the business because you got anything to add? And the guy doesn't say. I don't think he says 2 words the whole movie.
Broadcast school is really paying off.
Oh, that stuff's real.
One of my favorites.
He does say, like, he's like, you can't say goddamn on the radio. And he goes, don't worry, nobody's listening.
Shit, nobody's listening. When he dabs the jack like behind his ear is like, I mean, you're telling me somebody wrote something funnier than that in the history of fucking movies? Are you kidding me?
I laughed at that too. I didn't get it.
It doesn't even matter what it means. It's just that it's like how it's so funny. Oh my God. I literally I can't, it's like nonstop. I was writing down like funny quotes and I'm like, I can't stop typing. Dorn's such a perfect schmuck.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, obviously Corbin Burnsen's like obviously a well-known actor at the time. And like the funniest line is like, I thought you said you didn't have any high-priced talent. And he's like, oh, I forgot about Dorn. He's only high-priced. Shit. It's so good.
My fantasy football name for the longest time was Willie Mays Hayes. And it was the picture of Wesley Snipes when he slid in and doing the American Express commercial. Mm-hmm. Don't steal home without it.
Right. Yeah.
That was the icon that I used for many a year.
Dude, I'll tell you what, when Snipes squeezes his eyes shut and he's looking for the red tag in the locker, he looks a lot like Kenny Lofton. For those baseball fans out there now,
the deep pull.
A Cleveland center fielder for many years. Dude, a lot like him.
Yeah.
So there's a really funny line in this movie. This has always been one of my favorite things about this movie, outside of the nonstop hilarity. Is later in the movie when after Vaughn has slept with Dorn's wife and Dorn comes out and he's like, I only got one thing left to say. Strike this motherfucker out. Great scene. The TBS version, the TV edit version of that,
I know what mine
is one of the best edits I think I've ever encountered. And while his mouth is saying, strike this motherfucker out, it says, strike this guy out.
I've just heard it as smother. They would just cut the fucker. So they would just say,
No.
"Mother, strike
It's
this mother
it's
out."
the longest. Strike this guy out as his mouth is moving to motherfucker. It's so good. It is glorious. It is one of my favorites. It is to me the epitome, top of the mountain of TV edits of swears. It's so good.
My favorite is always, instead of Jesus Christ, they'll say Judas Priest. Not in this movie, but in other movies. I always thought that was funny too.
Can we talk about that scene in this movie?
You've got to have a couple.
Well, the first one that I guess I didn't understand, and I've seen this so many times that I didn't just blank over it. The dinner party,
Yeah.
when he goes and he
We
follows
got uniforms and everything.
right. So he follows her back to this guy's apartment who lives on
Not
the
bad at all.
6th floor of this, up and coming loft or whatever in
Well, I think it's a 6 flat.
right in Cleveland. Like, who builds that, and who's putting that apartment in Cleveland in 1989 or 88 or whatever? Like, nobody, right?
I don't know. My question was always, how does he get in every place without a key? Like, don't these people lock doors? Like, he just goes in the elevator
the
and
80s,
opens
bro.
up
Right.
into the house. Like, why would anyone be able to just go into an elevator?
Because this is the 80s.
That's
Yeah, I
80s.
guess so.
And then they walk in, and everybody's like, "Oh, just come in and have a drink." So he sits down. There are two other couples there, and they're just sitting there. Like, if there were just two couples, why wouldn't you guys be like sitting at the bar, talking up there? Like, I don't know what the plan is.
This
That
your weakest
Yeah, that's not that
scene
scene.
moment. This
It's
is
not like
your-
you-
I'm just
I feel
very
like
confused about what was going on at this dinner party, because like she was bringing over appetizers, but there's like an older couple and
so
a younger
you're
couple.
confused that like 6 people were hanging out and he crashed it.
No, like they didn't seem like they were hanging out. They just seemed like they barely knew each other.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there was some kind of maybe business dealing or
Business.
something with. He's a lawyer.
No. I stand by it. That's your weakest of all time.
And then lastly, though, they didn't know about the Indians. Like, it's Cleveland. Everybody knows about the Indians.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the joke.
That part I agree
That was
with.
part of the joke, right? It's like, oh, they still have a team, right? Because they're so bad.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, we
but
got uniforms and everything.
That woman was totally into him. She was about to leave her
Oh, for
husband.
sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
For
I'll tell you
Behringer.
what's about to happen at a dinner party.
It's about to be a key party.
So there's you talk about that, like, and even the fact that the people in Cleveland were like, oh, we're surprised you had a team, whatever. The fact that a baseball GM would not know who Lou Brown was if he was coaching their minor league team for like 20 years, like, yeah, no, dude would clearly have known who he was. Whether he was qualified or not, it's a whole other element. But in terms of not knowing who he was, I was like, the Toledo Mudhens were definitely a part of the Indians organization,
Right.
At least at one point.
Yeah. So as the games go on and they start winning and stuff, when Serrano hits his big home run, and he does the whole Joe Boo, forget you, I'll do it myself.
Yeah,
Did you know he was supposed to drop the bat?
I mean, presumably.
And Dennis Haysbert got so wrapped up in the scene because they had like extras and stuff, and everybody started cheering because he actually hit a home run, and he just kept running with the bat.
I mean,
and
it makes
ran
sense.
the bases
He worships
with the bat in hand.
so it plays for his character. I feel like
It does play for the
because he
character.
wanted
Yeah.
to keep the
And
bat warm, hat for bat.
Dude, and like the thing is, and I know I didn't watch 24, but I know Haysbert went on to become kind of pretty well known for being the president on 24.
And the Allstate guy.
And the Allstate guy, right? Like, but he was always the guy, Serrano.
Yeah.
He's always been Serrano to me. And Snipes, you talk about Wesley Snipes, who is phenomenal in his role, but obviously went on to be a much, much bigger movie star. They said he was like so bad at throwing. That's why there's not one single scene of Willie Mays Hayes throwing a ball. That's how bad Snipes was at throwing a ball.
He's just martial arts, no baseball
He just
skills.
never knew how to play
He's
baseball.
fast.
He didn't know how to do
He
anything.
could run.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the misillusion or disillusion for most people. It's like, it's not just like, oh yeah, no, you can throw or hit or whatever. No, apparently he literally could not.
Yeah, I thought.
And that's also they like why all of his running scenes were slow mo to make him seem faster.
Like Tom Cruise.
Right.
But yeah, I thought all the baseball looked pretty good. Not that there was
Yeah.
a ton, but they all made it. Whatever they did with editing, it made it look good.
Well, and we could talk about the man of who's maybe the most recognized from the movie, Rick
Wild
Vaughn.
Thing.
Yeah, Wild Thing. They said they shot from behind the plate. They moved the mound in, so he was
Oh.
throwing from essentially like 80 feet to make it seem like the ball was getting there
Yeah.
faster. But you couldn't tell that from
No.
obviously
Yeah, looked
shooting
good.
from behind the plate. It's great, smart editing, and it works. And Vaughn, Charlie Sheen, actually was a baseball player growing up, so he knew how to throw the ball. And I think they said he was like, I don't know if he got like invited to a camp, something along the line. He was good. We'll say that. So he knew exactly how to pitch, but he never obviously touched 100 or 101.
What would be the song if you're a relief pitcher? What would be the song that you come out to?
It's hard to not think of the songs that are out there. Enter Sandman is in real baseball the most famous for Mariano Rivera, which is a fucking great.
Do I want the crowd hyped
Right.
or do I want something for me?
I'll be honest. I know my answer, but July, go
But
ahead.
to answer
Delon.
your
I'd probably
question
go-
first, I think I would
Yeah.
want the crowd hyped. Like I see, what's the Mets player or whatever that has that?
Yeah, that's it. It's yeah,
Just- the
that's
place
100%. That's the
explodes.
right
Like,
answer,
yeah,
by the
that's
way.
right.
Timmy Trumpet's
Timmy Trumpets. There you go.
Narco intro is the 100% the best answer. Because, by the way, no one knew that was the answer until we heard it, and then you're like, no, that's it. That's the
So
winner.
what's yours?
Danza Kuduro.
Oh yeah, yes, of course. Yeah, of course that's yours. Yes.
Yeah.
Good call.
I don't know if I don't think I love it for a closer, but I know what you're getting at.
Yeah.
and
I respect
like
the choice.
that.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just not quite there, and I don't have the. By the way, I don't have the answer. I don't have a song that's not getting played. But yeah, I'm pro the Mets trumpet narco song.
Yeah, I mean this movie was huge when I was a kid. Like everybody in my school, we quoted it all the time. Like we watched it so.
They
many times.
should.
Yeah, I mean we were a perfect age for it, right? So I was 8, 9 years old when I watched it. It was exactly the right age, I think, for this movie. Even though that's why there was a lot of swears and stuff, but we would repeat those lines like they were. That was like our intro to how to talk that way.
The Brady, did you catch with 14 minutes left after Vaughn strikes out Haywood, the Iowa fan in the audience?
I did not. I did not catch a Hawkeye. We got a Tiger Hawk out there.
Just a Iowa 14 jersey in black and gold.
Kingsbury, or what are we doing here? Is that pre-Kingsbury?
Surprisingly, 14 minutes left in the movie. Maybe he was
okay.
He was the time edit. So
That's pretty funny. I did not catch that. Surprisingly, I will say I saw that the Yankees, the opponent here in the DS, like their big dude. Shit, I forgot.
Haywood.
Haywood, dude, he was a pitcher, a real life baseball pitcher. Like that was straight up just a former baseball player, a pitcher who they said never hit because he was in the American League, and they had him be this like big bad for the Yankees, the big bad first baseman with a nice mean mug look. Dude, the baseball scenes, in my opinion, are fantastic. We talked about that just a minute ago in terms of like the editing, but the suspense with like the batters that are up, I mean, I feel like they play out so perfectly. Like the music's good, the action's good. It is. I can't stop gushing, guys. I just don't think they do a lot wrong.
No, and I think one of the things that it's funny that you say that is because now if you tried to make a baseball movie today, I think it doesn't hold up because kids don't watch
It'd
baseball.
be gimmicky,
right? And like, it's fun.
Yeah.
We started watching the Savannah Bananas documentary on ESPN Plus with the kids.
Oh, I didn't know there was a doc.
Yeah, so it's like Welcome to Banana Land or something like that.
I would be
And
interested in that even. I think because I think they're an interesting team.
They are, and they literally said like we want it to be fun and we want it to make sure like the games go off quickly, that people are always entertained. There's no downtime and stuff. So they ended up like modifying the rules, and they play with modified rules, but they've made teams of baseball players that play under these rules.
Yep.
So they have two teams, and they actually try to win, and just to try and keep kids interested. And it's funny because the boys we've never watched baseball. Like Brooklyn may have turned it on like once or twice. He actually might have listened to it on the radio at one point, but they're interested. They're like, hey, can we keep watching? Can we see what's going on and watch what's happening? And so I think this might have been a movie along those lines where it's like, hey, if you can make it interesting and you can make it fun, and people will pay attention to it. So they caught Brady. So
look, and this is definitely, like I said, there's no doubt I'm hooked from this one because of me growing up. And this is where I have a massive disconnect with movies that are, do they resonate with people today? I'm gonna have to. I think I need to take it to work. I need to go to the office and say like, have you seen this? I need you to watch it, and I need to know if it hits. Because I rewatched this, and I laughed for 90 minutes, like almost. I let up, and then I was immediately laughing again. Like, there are minimal to no breaks. It's just funny throughout the entire damn movie. And then you tie in this story arc, which I think is borderline. You're rooting for the underdog, right? Like, you're rooting for this team of misfits against an owner, an owner that is out to get them, and like, it's just great.
Actively sabotaging their success. Putting them on the puddle jumper, and then on the bus, and then
only one thing left to do.
Win the whole fucking thing.
Martin, I mean, you're the least of the sports fan amongst us.
Yeah.
Is this the best movie you've ever seen?
I told you I was the first one that said it. Yeah, I loved the rewatch, and I do love this movie, but it is a nostalgia play for me. I think you are gonna, to answer your question about like if you make the younger people in your at work or something watch this, I really don't. Even the baseball fans, I feel like, are going to be like, nah, I don't know. It was kind of lacking for me because there's just something about.
Are the jokes not funny
no,
to humans under 30?
Yeah, I think there's something more. I think you're downplaying the amount of nostalgia and the memory of loving this movie more than
it's accidental. If I am, but I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying
But I agree. I love it, or maybe I'm overplaying that. But that's my main reason for loving it. I think is just remembering loving it as a kid, and yes, there's a lot of good lines, a lot of very good repeatable lines, which is always a big plus for us quoting people. And it's got Rene Russo, which we didn't even talk about. But yeah, I had a big crush on Rene Russo in the 80s and 90s. I think.
Well, I mean, when she has a license plate that says "Reed,"
and she has a much better body than that other woman.
That's pretty funny.
Martin was hooked
in
on
the
the Reed
library
license plate.
That's all it was. Martin saw Reed and was like,
"Yeah, hot librarian." Who does what was it? The 200 individual
200 IM
medley.
Individual medley.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's a good call out. Man, guys, I don't know. I feel like I can't stop.
So, is it better than Dumb and Dumber? So we watched that a couple, whatever, not that long ago, and you said that was like a maybe an all-time best comedy.
Yeah,
What goes higher?
they're both in my top
Yeah,
five.
both in top five. That's what
they're
you're
in
saying.
my
Okay.
top five. They're in my top five.
Jelani?
I don't know. I hate the best.
Yeah, right.
But
It's hard.
Yeah. I will put this in.
Jelani, yeah. Does this fall anywhere for you? Is this?
This is it's a top 5 baseball movie.
Oh well, that's the qualifier of
He doesn't say
qualifiers.
baseball comedy.
I'd be okay. Fair. Okay. Hey, that's a fair question, Jelani. Top 5 baseball movies. Martin, here's your time to think.
All right. So I go.
No order. Just give me 5. I understand you might say them in order.
All right.
No
I'm
order.
Not
I'm not telling you to rank
All
them.
right.
Just give me 5. Your top 5 baseball.
Top 5
movies.
baseball movies: The Natural, The Sandlot, Major League, Little Big League,
Field of Dreams.
He's not sure yet.
I don't know. Maybe. I'm trying to think of any other.
It's
Mr.
he painted
3000.
himself in a corner. Now I don't even believe it.
No, that was.
Wait, what did you say?
All right,
I
now
didn't hear
rank
it.
them.
Mr. 3000.
How about Mr. Baseball?
No, I'm not a Selleck fan.
No, not a Selleck.
All right, Martin, do you got a top 5? Top 5 baseball movies. No order.
Field of Dreams, Major League. I would maybe even put Major League as my number one. Sandlot as well. Those are probably the only 3 that I actually really love.
Okay.
But maybe I'm missing something. I can't. Can you name me some other ones? Because I don't love The Natural that much. So
Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Angels in the
I
Outfield.
like Rookie of the Year.
I'm throwing you some outliers that Jelani didn't already
For the
say.
love of the game.
Right.
The love of the
The other-
game.
Oh,
I'm a
Bull
big
Durham
fan.
for sure.
Bull Durham,
is,
yeah,
is,
that's another
so
one.
that's 4. I don't know.
League of Their Own.
Yeah, me.
League of Their Own's the one that's outstanding. That it's living a. Jelani didn't mention it. I feel like that's the one that everyone says. To me, it's less funny and less good than other movies, but it's held up here on a pedestal. I just don't personally hold.
What
it
about
there.
Major League 2?
No.
That's always what I-
So major. So you said, sorry, circling back, you don't think and I'm not judging you. I'm just saying you said you don't think The Natural is
I've
that
only
good.
watched it really one time in high school. Maybe I need to rewatch it, but I'm surprised.
I'm not telling you to rewatch it, but I think this is gonna be a nostalgia play for
Yeah.
me. I feel like I watched The Natural a shit ton when I was a kid, and slash.
I know
like,
it's funny because it's an
teenager.
old movie, and you're telling me to watch an old movie.
Right, but it wasn't.
It
old
wasn't,
at the
yeah, I
time
don't
when
think
was
it's that
watching
old.
it. When I was watching it, it wasn't old. When I was over and over again watching it, in hindsight, yes, but I do hold it in a nostalgic spot. It's always been for me, Major League. To me, Major League's the best baseball movie there is. I don't mind that it's. I think the fact that it's a comedy is like a deterrent for most people, and to me, it shouldn't be. It's a baseball movie. It's absolutely amazing, so much fun. And The Natural is
I
up
thought
there
it was
strictly
older
because
than
of that.
'84. So my
No,
bad.
that's
lot
what I
of
was going to
people-
say.
I thought it was
It's
the
5 years
70s for
older than
sure.
this movie.
Yeah, right. That's wild.
A lot of people have always said like I've heard that The Natural isn't like necessarily thought of as such, but I always have held it as and being on that list. So Major League and The Natural are there. I'm gonna go with Field of Dreams.
Moneyball. Sorry, that's my 5th.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Moneyball has
Yeah,
been shoved into my 4th, and I'm gonna go with
Hardball. Keanu Reeves.
God. I do own it.
It is
It's
a
in
good
the
one
bin.
too.
That's my 6th.
But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with it's not The Rookie with Dennis Quaid.
You got to put a Quaid on there.
I'm gonna go with I'm going for Love of the Game, and I'm gonna make the people mad. Those are my top 5 baseball movies.
No Bad News Bears.
Sorry, nope. Sorry, I'm not sorry. That's what the kids say these days.
Sorry, not sorry, for sure. Trouble with the Curve.
No, the fan.
Nobody likes
Trouble with
nobody
the
likes
Curve.
Trouble with the
No,
Curve.
I have seen a lot of TikToks on that though, with Matthew Lillard being very unhappy with Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, I could see that. I think lots of people are unhappy with Clint Eastwood.
What's the other one with John Hamm? $1 Million Arm?
Yeah. I haven't seen that.
I haven't either. I'm gonna go on a limb and say that it's not cracking my top 5.
How about Summer Catch with Freddie Prinze Jr.?
Oh, what about Fever Pitch? Fallon and Barrymore.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Is
you know,
Dazed and Confused
honestly
considered
though,
a baseball movie? They have a scene where he's playing.
Fair point. To be honest though, Jelani, I think it's fair that I did not include The Sandlot, and I'm questioning if I need to revisit it. You did, and that's why I'm calling it out.
Yeah. I could push that.
I think the logic is that it's better than For Love of the Game, and I threw For Love of the Game in because I was kind of like I was like, do I really have a fifth? But I've always enjoyed that movie. For me, Major League and The Natural seem like irreplaceable, and I think Field of Dreams as well. I think it's got. I don't see that getting replaced.
You guys don't love Bull Durham, huh?
I didn't dislike Bull Durham. I think that's one of those that probably falls a little before my time, and I don't hold it where a lot of people do. I think Kevin Costner would probably tell you that it's better than For Love of the Game, but I have seen For Love of the Game so many times that I don't know that I would have a hard time replacing.
Have you guys ever seen a movie called Mr. Destiny with John Belushi or Jim Belushi?
Jim Belushi?
Yeah. It's basically like It's a Wonderful Life, but with... Actually, it's got Renee Russo in it, too, I think.
Yeah? She had... How many baseball movies?
No, it's... Oh, yes, it is. Renee Russo and Linda Hamilton.
Yeah. It's... there's a bunch of them out there, and it obviously is... the debatable aspect of that, but I just feel like, to me, and it feels like I think we're all in agreement. Major League's on that list.
Yeah, it's on that list. It might be my number one, but there's
to me it is mine, and I think that it's. I just feel like it's discounted because it's a comedy, and to me it doesn't make any sense.
No, because there's a lot, like we said, there's a lot of good actual baseball in it too. Just because it happens to be entertaining and makes you laugh, shouldn't take away from the baseball aspect of it, and that's a big part of it.
As always, it's very bad to steal Joe Blue's rum, but it's very good to subscribe to our Film Fathers podcast wherever you listen. Thanks, and play ball!